Hey everyone. Ever feel like waiting for AI to catch up with us is like watching paint dry?
Ugh, it can be like pulling teeth sometimes.
Well, get ready for a speed boost because we're diving into an
Fascinating.
article all about diffusion LLMs.
Yeah, this piece really highlights like a total game changer.
Yeah,
We're not just talking about like AI being faster, but potentially a different way for AI to actually think.
right. And it's a dense article, but we're going to unpack it for you.
Absolutely.
So let's start with the problem these diffusion LLMs are trying to solve. You know how current large language models, the ones you hear about all the time, work kind of like writing a sentence, like one word at a time, making sure each one is perfect before moving on.
Hmm.
Like, oh,
That's right. It's called autoregressive generation. And it's like each word is stuck in traffic. Every single step requires a ton of computation, which makes these models expensive to run and pretty slow, especially if you want AI to react in real time, which is
no,
what we all want.
right.
Who wants to wait?
So enter diffusion LLMs or DLLMs.
Yeah.
Instead of that word by word approach, imagine sketching out a whole picture roughly, getting the overall idea down, and then going back to refine the details.
It's an interesting parallel to how like image diffusion models work, which are already all over AI image and video generation. You start with a noisy, blurry image and gradually sharpen it until it's clear, and now they're applying that same concept to language.
Yeah, and the results are kind of mind-blowing when you think about the speed difference. The article says these DLMs can process over 1,000 tokens per second. And just so you know, a token is basically the unit of text AI models work with, kind of like a word or part of a word.
Right, like the smallest unit.
Yeah, but traditional LLMs, they're chugging along at 40, 60 tokens per second. We're talking dial-up versus fiber optic speeds.
Exactly,
Uh,
and that speed directly translates to like cost. These diffusion LLMs are about 10 times cheaper to operate, according to the article. This could be huge because it opens up the possibility of running powerful AI on devices like your laptop or phone, not just in these giant data centers.
You know, what really hooked me was this example they gave in the article, a real-time coding demo. The prompt was, make a particle system where particles follow the mouse cursor using HTML5 canvas. And boom, the DLM just spits out the code right then and there. It was amazing.
Yeah, and that kind of like instant response is what gets me excited about this technology. Imagine like AI assistants that can actually keep up with a conversation or even anticipate what you need before you ask. We're talking about AI that feels truly interactive.
But it's not just about speed,
Huh.
right? The article also digs into how these DLLMs can go back and revise their entire output at once.
It's huge.
It's massive, right?
Yeah.
That means fewer errors, less of that hallucination issue where AI makes things up, which could make these models much more reliable.
Yeah, reliability is going to be crucial, especially as these models become more powerful and integrated into our lives. And the ability to revise the entire output, as opposed to just tweaking things word by word, could be a big step towards that.
The article even quotes Andrej Karpathy, a huge name in AI, and he basically says this shift to diffusion models could be as big for language as it was for image generation. He calls it a potential turning point.
And he would know.
And I have to say, it's got me thinking.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If diffusion has been this transformative for images, what could it unlock when applied to how AI reasons and solves problems? The article focuses on speed, but what about complex decision-making or creativity? Could this be the foundation for a whole new type of AI?
Yeah,
I think that's a question worth exploring further.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild to think that it wasn't, like one of the big tech companies that made this breakthrough with diffusion LLMs.
Right. You think it'd be like Google or Meta or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the article says it was a company called Inception Labs, and they were the first to develop a production-grade diffusion-based large language model.
That's right. And their approach is really shaking things up in the AI world. Instead of processing one token at a time, their diffusion model starts by creating a kind of rough draft of the entire response.
So it's like starting with an outline or a first draft of an essay and then going back to fill in the details and make it flow better.
Exactly. And that's where a lot of the efficiency gains come in by starting with a more holistic view of the response. The model can reach a final answer in a lot fewer steps.
The article mentioned that the diffusion model only needed something like 14 iterations to get to the final output, compared to 75 for traditional LLMs. That difference is huge.
It is, and fewer iterations mean faster processing speeds and lower computational costs, which is why these diffusion LLMs are so exciting.
I'm curious, what are some of the specific areas where you see these diffusion LLMs having the biggest impact? The article touched on a few, but I'd love to hear your take.
Well, let's start with AI agents. The virtual assistants and chatbots we use today, they're pretty limited by the processing speed of traditional LLMs. But with diffusion models, imagine AI agents that can work exponentially faster, providing help or information in real time, almost like you're talking to another person.
It would be like having a superpowered assistant that can keep up with your every thought, helping you brainstorm ideas, write content, or even just navigate your day. The possibilities are pretty incredible.
And the article also highlighted the potential for diffusion LLMs to improve AI reasoning and error correction because they can revise their entire output at once. They're less likely to get stuck in those hallucination traps where they make things up.
So could this be the key to finally having AI systems we can truly trust? Systems that are less likely to make mistakes, especially as they become more complex and we start relying on them for more critical tasks?
It's certainly a possibility. Trust and reliability are essential if we want to fully integrate AI into our lives. And these diffusion LLMs, with their ability to refine their outputs in a more holistic way, could be a big step towards that goal.
The article also mentioned something about edge computing and how these diffusion LLMs could be powerful enough to run on personal devices, not just in the cloud. What are your thoughts on that?
That's a fascinating prospect right now. Most AI processing happens in these massive data centers, but with diffusion models, we might see a future where powerful AI capabilities are available right on your laptop or even your phone. It could change how we interact with AI on a daily basis.
It would be like having a supercomputer in your pocket. You wouldn't need to be constantly connected to the internet to access powerful AI tools.
Exactly. And the article also touched on the concept of controllable generation, with diffusion LLMs being able to edit, align, and refine text in any order could give us more control over what the AI produces.
So instead of just hoping the AI gives you what you want, you'd have more tools to shape its output to guide it in a specific direction.
Precisely. And that level of control is essential for safety and reliability. We need to ensure that AI systems are generating the outputs we want in a way that aligns with our values and goals. It's like having a steering wheel for AI guiding it in the right direction.
All of this is incredibly exciting, and it sounds like we're on the verge of a major breakthrough in AI technology. I'm curious, where do you see all of this leading in the future?
Well, if Andrew Karpathy's predictions are right, and he's someone who knows a thing or two about AI, these diffusion models could be as transformative for language as they've been for image generation. We could see a whole new wave of AI applications, from faster and more reliable AI assistants to personalized AI capabilities on our own devices.
It's almost hard to imagine the possibilities, but it definitely feels like we're witnessing a paradigm shift in real time.
Indeed, and what's particularly striking is how this advancement aligns with broader trends in AI. We've already seen diffusion models become the dominant approach in image and video generation. It seems only natural that this approach would eventually find its way to language-based tasks.
It's almost like AI is catching up to the way our own brains work. We don't think in a strictly linear way. Our thoughts are more interconnected, more like a web of ideas.
That's a fascinating observation, and perhaps diffusion models offer a more accurate representation of how we think. Instead of generating ideas one piece at a time, they start with a rough sketch, a holistic view, and then refine it iteratively.
It's like brainstorming on a whiteboard, throwing all your ideas out there and then connecting the dots and refining the concepts.
Exactly. And this nonlinear approach seems to be particularly well suited for complex tasks that require reasoning and problem solving. The ability to revise the entire output to go back and forth between different parts of the solution seems crucial for arriving at a coherent and accurate answer.
It's like having an editor for your thoughts, constantly refining and improving the flow of ideas.
Hmm.
But at lightning speed, it really makes you appreciate the potential of these diffusion LLMs.
It does. It's not just about speed and efficiency. It's about fundamentally changing how we think about AI and its capabilities. This technology has the potential to revolutionize countless industries and aspects of our lives.
Yeah, it really feels like we're at like a turning point here.
It does. And what's particularly exciting is how this technology could change our relationship with AI, like how we actually use it and interact with it.
In what way?
Well, right now, using AI can feel a bit like like trying to have a conversation with someone who's, constantly lagging behind. With these diffusion LLMs, that barrier could just disappear. Imagine AI that can keep up with you, that can understand your intent and respond in a way that feels truly natural and intuitive. really get you.
So it's not just about the tasks that AI can perform, but about how we experience those interactions, how it feels to use it.
Exactly. It's about creating a more seamless, more human-like interaction with AI.
The article focused a lot on the technical aspects of diffusion LLMs, but
Yeah.
I'm curious about the bigger picture. What are some of the potential applications you see this technology unlocking?
Well, as we've discussed, the impact on AI assistants and agents could be profound. Imagine having a personal AI assistant that can help you with complex tasks like writing a report or planning a trip or even composing music, all in real time and in collaboration with you.
It would be like having a partner in creativity and problem solving right there at your fingertips.
And think about the potential for education. AI tutors could provide personalized instruction, adapting to each student's needs and pace. It could revolutionize how we learn.
It would be like having a tailor-made learning experience guided by an AI that understands your strengths and weaknesses. That would be huge for so many people.
Yeah, and beyond education, consider the impact on research and development. Scientists and engineers could use AI to accelerate their work, generating hypotheses, designing experiments, and analyzing data at speeds we can only dream of today.
So these diffusion LLMs could accelerate innovation across countless fields.
Exactly, and let's not forget about entertainment. We've already seen AI make inroads into creative fields like music and art. With diffusion LLMs, imagine AI-generated movies, video games, and even interactive stories that adapt to your choices in real time.
It's almost overwhelming to think about all the possibilities.
It is, but in a good way. I think we're only scratching the surface of what diffusion LLMs could achieve.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into this fascinating topic, what's the one key takeaway you want to leave our listeners with?
If I had to choose one, it would be this. Pay attention to diffusion LLMs. This technology has the potential to be truly transformative, not just for AI, but for the world as we know it.
It's a call to action for all of us to keep our eyes open and our minds engaged.
Precisely, the future of AI is unfolding before us, and diffusion LLMs might just be the key to unlocking its full potential.
Well said. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into diffusion LLMs. We hope it's given you a glimpse into the exciting possibilities of this technology and left you with some food for thought. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.